Winston comes up on the outside, and he got in front of War of Will. And Sir Winston has moved to the center of the track under Joel Rosario to take the lead. On the inside, Joevia fights on. Tacitus is there, and then Tex between horses. Master Fencer on the far outside. They're coming to the finish, and Sir Winston has won the Belmont Stakes.
Alright, welcome back to Haskell Profile here on Racing Rundown. Right now we're going to talk about Joevia. Third place horse in the Belmont Stakes has won a few races in his lifetime and is right now 15 to 1 on the morning line. Again, like I said in the video for Everfast, we're going to keep going even though there is a very high likelihood that the Haskell could get postponed. We're going to keep making these videos, and if it gets postponed, then it gets postponed. But we're going to talk Joevia, who actually, even though he is one of the longer shots, I think probably if I was going to play a long shot, which I will not be, but if I was going to be playing a long shot in this race, I would most likely be looking to play Joevia, because Joevia has been the most consistent out of all the long shot horses. So, of the Joevias, Spun to Run, Bethlehem Roads, and Everfasts, Joevia has been the most consistent about them. And he is 10 to 1, correction on that. I do also want to make a correction. I know this is a separate video, but I did say Julian Laperoux rode Everfast in the Preakness. I mixed that up with Joel Rosario. Joel rode him in the Preakness. Julian will be riding him in the Haskell. So that's my mistake. I forgot to put that in the description. I'll go fix that after I'm done recording this video. But taking a look at Joevia, a horse that has won 2 times, both of them actually, interestingly, at Monmouth Park. So this horse clearly can run on the Monmouth Park surface, has run there twice, has won twice, has also been second 2 times. He was second in the Jimmy Wink Field at Aqueduct and was second in the Private Terms at Laurel Park. And as we know, was third in the Belmont Stakes in a very, not necessarily easy Belmont Stakes for him, but he stayed on the lead for most of the time, did get passed by Joel Rosario, who made a great move on Sir Winston to get through and eventually win the race, and also got passed by Tacitus, who didn't get the best of rides from Jose Ortiz. But we're not going to be talking about the Belmont Stakes in this video. Just Joevia did end up running third in the race, though, so Joevia hung around very nicely for a horse that had been on the lead for most of the race. Reminded me a little bit of Commissioner. You remember in the Belmont Stakes that California Chrome lost, Commissioner was on the lead for most of the way and just got caught right at the end by Tonalist. But looking at this horse, the thing that makes me like Joevia a lot coming into this race is the fact that he has run at Monmouth Park twice and won both of those races. Like I said, he has won a stakes race, the Long Branch at Monmouth Park. So, like King for a Day, has not won a graded stakes race, but both of them are stakes winners. And he was also, like I said, third in the Belmont Stakes, second 2 times in races. The only bad race on his career was the Wood Memorial, where he finished 11th behind the winner Tacitus Tax and a very fast closing High Call, who ran third in that race. Joevia did not run well at all, but, you can maybe chalk that up to whatever you want to. I don't think that that's a bar of how Joevia is going to run in the rest of his career. I think that Joevia, I don't think that he's a superstar. I think that Joevia is a solid horse that, like I said, if I were to play a long shot in this race, my long shot play would be Joevia. Again, the one thing that also does worry me about him is, unlike the Belmont Stakes, where there was not a lot of speed, there's a lot of horses that can go to the lead. Maximum Security is going to be on the lead, so is King for a Day, and so is Bethlehem Road. So there's going to be 3 horses right there that have to be on the lead. And that's concerning if you're Joevia. You've got to be able to get the kind of pace you want to be able to do well in the race, and you may not get that. I don't know who is going to be pressing the pace and how, but, there's always that question mark there. So, like I said, will not be taking Joevia, but I like him a lot more than any of the other long shots. I think that him and Bethlehem Road, I think Bethlehem Road is being overlooked at 20 to 1 on the morning line. I think Bethlehem Road is a better horse than 20 to 1. And like I said, I think Everfast is a lesser horse than 15 to 1 on the morning line. So I don't necessarily agree with all the odds on the morning line, but I think Joevia, if a long shot were to win this race, it's going to be him. that's my final thought on him. He's loves Monmouth Park, as we've seen. Has won at 5 furlongs and a mile and a 16th at Monmouth Park. That's actually the farthest that he's gone in winning. He was able to go a mile and a half fairly reasonably. And I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be able to run well in the Haskell. Not necessarily saying he's going to win. So, I guess with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm not sure if I'm going to combine Bethlehem Road or Spun to Run. I think I might, because I don't really have much to say on either of those two horses. I have more to say on Bethlehem Road, but I really don't think there's much I can say about Spun to Run. And actually, now that I think of it, I probably will be combining those two videos, or excuse those two horses into one video. So, the end of the Haskell Profile series will be tonight. Like I said, we have Tom Durkin coming on the podcast next Wednesday at the moment, and some more great stuff coming up in the future. So you've got all that to look forward to. Like I said, we are now on Google Play. If you want to follow us on social media, follow us on Twitter at Rundown Racing, Instagram Racing Rundown Podcast. The one thing that I am going to throw out there, though, if you are coming on Twitter to yell at me about stuff to do with horse racing wrongs, and I know I've made a promise that I'm not going to talk about that anymore, but I have been getting tweets from people. If you are going to tweet at me, know what you're talking about, please, because if you say something that's blatantly not true, I will call you out on it, and it will not be fun. So if you're going to tweet at me, know what you're talking about. And you know, I like to respond to anyone who sends me anything on Twitter, but if you're just going to say stuff that is been repeated a million times, like the number of horses that die on race, I'm not even going to respond to that anymore. So I'm just putting that out there. Not saying that any of you guys who are watching this video are going to be like that, but just in the event someone, for whatever reason, is watching this and they are thinking about tweeting at me about the number of horses, don't. And if you do, know what you're talking about. Alright, I'll see you guys later.